Hello and welcome back to my channel. This will be part 2 of the little VW Polo project, and as you may have seen in the last video, it's ridiculously low, and I'm going to take you guys through a little walk round of what it's like underneath when I actually get it jacked up. You guys will be able to have a little bit of a laugh at me for struggling to jack it up because of how low it is. But this will be a little bit of an interesting one for you guys as well as myself, and we'll just take you for a little walkthrough of my tools and what we're going to do today, and then I'll put you on the tripod and put you on time lapse. So we'll do that now. Right, so as I said, we've got I'll leave that door open because the cat's gone inside the car, as you may see there, but that's alright, I'll leave her to it. What I've got here is I've put block of wood underneath that wheel. I'm going to roll it back in a moment. I've got block of wood under that wheel. Same with that wheel. Whilst I'm here though, I don't know if I'll be able to see in there or not. If you can see how low, if I turn this wood round, I can't even get a piece of wood underneath that wishbone support bolt. So that's how low that is. I'll just put that wood back there though. We've got my trolley jack. We've got the VW Polo's standard jack, just in case I need a little bit of assistance. My little toolbox. I don't have that many tools and my tools ain't that great, but a good selection to get on with, and if I need anything else I'll go back to the thingy. Cushion for me to kneel on to protect my knees, and we've got my newer stands, my older stands. They're still functioning alright, so it'll be alright for what I need, but I normally only ever use two, but because I'm either working on the front or the back of the car, but this occasion we're going to have the whole car up, so I need two sets. And you've got my little tripod there, which I will put you on in a little while for the time-lapse side of things. And just to show you, I've got another bit of wood there as well, and like I said, I'm going to try rolling this back and see if I can get it on all 4 bits of wood, just to give me a little bit more clearance and a little bit more, make it a little bit more easier. But I'll get you set up on the tripod now and we'll put you on time lapse, and when I've got the wheels off, when I've got it jacked up and I've got the wheels off, I'll bring you back in so we can have a look at what brand this coilovers is, because that's another thing I'm unaware of, and I will also take you underneath the car as best as I can to show you what the underneath of the car sort of condition is like as well. So I'll get the tripod set up and we'll put you on time lapse. 4 wheels are now off, and as you'll see in the time lapse that I did take the spare off of the driver's side front, pop that back in the boot and bring this one, which is the one that was in the boot, which was originally on that corner, and it's flat due to, as I've showed you in the last video, due to the wear on the inside edge, sorry. These are all Nankang Ultra Sport tyres with directional rotation, possibly fitted at the same time, but the rears are really good, the front's definitely a tracking issue. But as we'll just recap on this one, just for people who may not have seen the last video. This is ultra flat, it won't hold any air at all, worn on the outside edge, considerably worn on the inside edge, and that's the reason why it's gone flat. And that was on driver's side front, and the passenger side front one is similar on the inside edge again, down to cord. So like I said, there's definitely a tracking issue or a camber issue, but we'll be looking at that not in another video. And it's not too bad across the top, and just that again. As we go down to the back, because I left all the wheels on the corners, they come off. As we go down to the back, this one still don't look that bad. Don't look like it's had many miles on it. Loads of tread left in there. Nice even wear across the whole width of the tread. So definitely very functioning, usable tyre on this passenger side rear. And again, the same for the driver's side rear. Not very much not very many miles on it. Plenty of life left in it, and relatively even wear all across the side, all across the tread pattern. So definitely, the chap who gets them off me will be happy that he's only got to replace 2 tyres. Well, unless he wants the same brand or whatever, but he may be alright. But onto the subject of the coilovers. I still don't have a clue what brand these may or may not be, so I'm suspecting they're just some cheap Chinese rubbish. As you can see, they're quite wound down on the back to the lowest point, but that's all being said, possibly still get a few quid for them, so I'm going to take them off, put the standard springs on. At the front, I'm surprised that there is still a bit to go, even though how low it was. I would not want to even have it that low, but that's just me personally. Obviously the chap who previously owned this car was quite happy to have it that low, otherwise he wouldn't have set it there. So, condition of the brakes, plenty of meat left on them, plenty of it has a bit of a lip on the outside, but there's no real worries, and it's the same on the other side as well, but I'll show you that underneath. And pretty much the same on this side as well. On the driver's side, a bit of a lip on the disc, but nothing too concerning. Perfectly fine on that side as well, and plenty of meat left on the brakes. And I can't really show you much at the back, as you saw a little while ago. Drums, but again, like I said, that coilover. Then we've got the driver's side front coilover. The other reason why I believe these may be cheap parts is because there's a little hole there, and they've cable tied that back, but the proper fixings to put these lugs in and hold these in place for the ABS sensor don't exist. So whether they do actually exist ever on coilovers or not, but I would like to think they do, because that's just waving about up there, free to do whatever. Now obviously some people would say that's nice that it's loose so you can still do the steering, but if it's got those on, it's got those on for a reason. So I'm sure they'll be on the standard shocks, and I will be popping them back into their little hooks where they go on the standard shocks. But again, I know nothing really about coilovers other than watching YouTube videos and seeing how to set them up and take them apart, and just out of sheer interest really. But right, let's get underneath and have a look. Right. I have got my cushion, but if I lay on that underneath the car, there won't be enough space for me to get under. Right, so as I was saying, let me give it a torch actually. So, underneath the car, there is a bit of an oil leak. That's mainly just underneath the gearbox, just literally, let me see if I can reposition to show you better. A little bit of an oil leak, just literally, just this, just left of the union, the steering, brain's gone dumb. The drive shaft, just left of the drive shaft, a little bit of oil on the bottom of the gearbox. There's a little bit of a oil round by the sump, but again, for a W-Reg 2000 car, which is like 20 years old nearly, it ain't too bad. And as you can see here, just here where my finger is, there's, I know I jacked it from there, but that's all rusty and rotten. So not rusty and rotten, but it's got surface rust on it, so that is obviously where it's been hitting the ground and scrubbing. But thankfully, if you look over here on the other one, you might be able to tell that this, let me just set that up so we get the light and I can still, so as you can see, basically this is lower than the sump. The sump has a few grazes on it, obviously from something possibly quite central, but these are lower than the sump, so that's probably literally all that's saved the sump is those bits. And they have been scrubbing occasionally on the ground, but again, it's nowhere near as bad as I was thinking. As you can see, I've got 4 axle stands, so it's well supported. And I'll take you down the sides of the car. So basically, like literally all down these seals, same, image focus, relatively the same all the way down. Actually, I've just seen, has had a repair here. Let me come out and I'll show you. I have just noticed there has been a repair of some sort there that I can see. But I'm not worried, it seems solid enough. So, but they do go, they are common to go on this rear quarter bit round by the door anyway. So that's been one repair that I don't need to worry about, I believe. Let's have a look. Yeah, a little bit of scub in there, but you probably shouldn't be using my torch to bash it, but oh well. No, it seems solid enough. So realistically, looking underneath the whole car, there's quite a bit. Again, it's all just a few surface bits. It's mainly road dirt and stuff. Now the rear swing arm, again, just a bit of surface rust and a little bit of paint peeling. But again, nothing to worry about. Probably the biggest rust patch is what you've already seen, and that's on this wheel arch. But again, I believe if I just chuck a bit of tape on that so it's not sharp, I don't even need to worry about for the MOT. And I know that sounds like a bodge, but this is a very old car, and I'm more worried about getting someone a nice cheap little bargain and making a little bit of profit out of it for myself, rather than making it look fantastic, because it's never going to look fantastic. Now, onto the old man farting for a karaoke mic that I said in one of the videos. That, I believe, is a cherry bomb exhaust. So that's been, the exhaust mount is just here. I can take that off quite easily, and it's been used with normal Jubilee clamps and some sort of exhaust paste and exhaust wrap. And then after that, it's pretty much new exhaust all the way through, right up to the cap. I don't know who that was, but that was noisy as well. So yeah, pretty much a new exhaust all the way through. And I do have the original back box, the new back box, but it's been cut off literally right here. So I'll either ask my mate to weld that a piece of pipe on there, and I'll get like a join-in piece put in here and put it back on. But then, to be honest, it may work out cheaper in the long run just to buy another back box that clamps straight onto there, and sorry about the focus on the camera, clamp straight onto there and just bolt that straight on. It may work out cheaper in the long run just to buy potentially a £30, £40 back box rather than messing about with a welder and trying to sort that out. But I do have another exhaust mount for there if needed, but then to be fair, that looks quite alright, and that looks like it'll just slide straight out once I get the other end done. So, but yeah, on another subject on the brakes as well is all the brake lines are, other than covered in dirt, they're perfectly fine, and I can't see any real issue with the handbrake cables at the moment. But as we know in the previous video, or I'll show you as well now, the handbrake is quite ridiculously high, and even in that position the car sometimes still wants to roll backwards, which is why it was left in gear as well. But yeah, so as I promised, I took you for a little guided tour of underneath, showed you what the brakes were like, just got the wheels off because they need to go, because like I said, I've sold them on, and got it jacked up. And then you'll see me in the next video. The plan for the next video is to start taking the coilovers apart and putting the standard suspension on, and then we'll probably tackle some of the other issues like the while we're in there, tackle the other issues like the handbrake and all sorts of stuff like that. So yeah, if you liked my content and you like the idea of what I'm doing, you like the idea of watching what I'm doing with the cars and the VW Polo project at the moment, this is part 2. There'll be a few more parts to come yet, because there's a fair bit to do, as you guys can probably imagine, and I'm trying to keep the videos not too long. So yeah, I will leave this one here, and I will see you in the next one. The next one I am planning to have up on Wednesday, so all fingers crossed, because this was supposed to go up yesterday, but this is now Saturday, so unfortunately life sometimes gets in the way, but it is what it is. So this will be going up tonight, Saturday, and my next one will be up Wednesday. So if you like what you see, give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, comment if there's anything that you may want to know about it, and I'll answer as best as I can. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.